Well, you might remember we were talking about stress in the workplace yesterday. Now, if you ask people what in particular causes them stress, probably most of them will say the same thing: email overload.
Oh, if you're anything like some of the people in the Sunrise office, they're living in email chaos. Not our newsroom here.
They're organised.
Very efficient.
We're chaotic.
So how do you get your inbox under control? Efficiency expert Donna Hanson is here to help. Imagine being called an efficiency expert. Donna, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, babe.
Good. Now, what are the classic signs of email overload?
The classic sign of email overload is when you're looking over someone's shoulder and you just see the inbox full of emails. I've seen 7,000, 8,000 sitting in there. That's the classic sign that somebody's got a problem.
Oh.
Wow.
That, and along with all the folders down in the navigation pane. You know, on the left-hand side of the screen, they're all just running down in alphabetical order.
And what's wrong with that? I thought that was how you got organised, or putting them in there. OK, moving right along, obviously, I have no idea. You've got 7 steps to reduce email traffic. Now, the first one is to stop CCing. How does this help?
This is amazing. I worked with a corporate recently, and the managing director was getting CC'd in on a lot of emails. He said to his staff, stop doing it because I just delete them. So all of a sudden their volume dropped. Organisations need to think about guidelines around how their staff should use emails.
Because that is a classic way of protecting your backside, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, put as many people on the CC as you can, and then all care, no responsibility. And
organisations are starting to get a bit edgy about this too, because ultimately whatever their staff send under their email address...
They're responsible,
absolutely.
Aren't they? Legally.
Absolutely, that's huge.
All right. Next one is think before you reply.
Yes, well, how often do we just click that reply, or even worse, the reply all button? Don't you love that one?
Oh, I hate that.
Everybody gets a copy. Think about whether people really need to get this message back, or whether it'd be more effective to pick up the phone, have a conversation, or if it's something longer, maybe a meeting would be better served. So it's thinking before you press.
Now, the next one is be clear when making requests. What do you mean by this?
The verbal diarrhoea people get, where they just waffle on about what it is that they should be doing, but they're not clear and concise in what they want. So what do you need it, when do you need it by? So, David, can you do this by a certain date? Mel, can you do this by a certain date? Make it clear, concise, short, sharp, but not blunt. There's a nice balance.
All right. Rule 4 is confirm discussion.
Use the email as a tool to confirm the discussion rather than the discussion itself. So it's a great way. You have a meeting and you say, look, I'll just send you an email to confirm what we've discussed. So there's your backup in writing.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, rather than having to send off this big waffly email with all the details, you can just send an email back that says, my understanding of our discussion was these are the key points.
I always have a sneaking suspicion sometime that people will send you an email so they don't have to meet with you. And I keep thinking, just be quicker to pick up the phone or wander over to the desk.
Absolutely, and that's something that as organisations need to take responsibility for how they guide their staff in what they do. And as it relates to the workplace stress we talked about, because a lot of people get stressed by the volume of email they receive, and there's really no statistics to say as a result of email people experience this many absences in the workplace.
I wonder if it's because we think we're trying to speed things up, like SMSing and emailing, so you can be quicker than having a conversation, but the problem is when everybody does it, it's actually longer, so it doesn't kind of backfire.
Absolutely.
So you said encourage meetings, that's rule number 5, which you've talked about. Rule number 6, after that, sort and filter.
Yeah, email applications these days generally have rules that enable you to filter out messages. I encourage a lot of clients to set up rules where they're CC'd or be CC'd on emails, to have those filter straight out of the inbox and into a folder where you can read them in your own time, rather than have them dumping in all at once in the inbox.
Yep. And lastly, you have restrict your email address.
Yes, all too often we hand out business cards or our email address, or we sign up for something and we pop our email on there quite innocently, and what we're really agreeing to is being on a list.
And I hate it when you get an email where you're copied in with 800 other people that they all see your email address. All these people, you have no idea who they are, and all of a sudden they've got your address.
It's very handy if you're putting in for a tender, though. I've had that happen to me, where somebody's actually, I'm involved in a tender and they've put all the other tender bidders.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah, very useful.
Whoops. Thanks, Donna. That's very...
Thank you for having me.
I was going to say very useful, and it was.
It's all very useful. There you go.
No. Overusing the word useful.
Oh, okay.
Useful, tandem,
Sorry,
useful.
I got you. I was a little bit.
I was just trying to be professional.
I know, that's the difference between you and I. If you want some more details on how to get your inbox under control, check out our website. Don't email us.